All right, the war still isn't here yet, but we do have some Sacred Grove. Let's talk about Chief of War, Episode 8. Hi everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Chief of War, Episode 8, The Sacred Niu Grove, which comes to Apple TV Plus on September 12th, 2025. Eighth episode in the Chief of War series. It is a 9 episode series, so I don't know if we're going to get to the war before the end. I hope so, but my hot take is I think you should watch it. Although, again, this was a not as great episode. It feels like this season started off really, really strong. I loved it. And then the quality dipped kind of towards the middle part, and it is eked up just a little bit, but still not great. Like, this episode has some big plot convergences, which are nice, and a lot of brutality and some emotional scenes. But it also is fairly slow, and again, just I want things to move along a little faster, and it feels like that is not happening. It feels like they are setting it up. It feels like we are getting closer to what will ultimately be the main conflict that has been brewing for a while, but we're still not there yet. So ultimately, I think you should watch it. It's still a good series. It's still a good episode, but it didn't kind of grip me as much as I was expecting to. And it still isn't giving me the like, I don't know, the payoff. I don't know what you want to call it. The war part of Chief of War. So I'm gonna tell you a little about the episode, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn off when I get to the recap. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. Let you know when I get to those spoilers. So. Chief of War, Episode 8, deals right with the aftermath of what happened in Episode 7. Remember, at the end of Episode 7, we had the Day of Spilled Brains, the English sailors who wanted to establish a trade with Hawaii. They were rejected. They were told to go back. And so before they left, they just indiscriminately destroyed a coast. Basically, they launched shrapnel nails into the coast, killed a bunch of people, and then just bounced, which felt weird. It was vindictive, of course, but it also didn't feel like a smart move. If they wanted to come back and like take the island, I figured that they would just go back, come back with more men, and just take the island. Now they have put them on notice that there is a threat here. Now they have put them on notice that the English can't be trusted. Feels like if you were really going to do this, you would leave and then come back. But they did that. They caused this destruction, and that has caused some conflict within Kayani and Kamehameha's own camp. So, things I liked about this episode. The first, I like the plot convergence. We've had separate storylines throughout, and now it feels like they're finally coming together. Not fully, but they are starting to. Some of the storylines are starting to interweave. It feels like we are getting towards a conflict because they are starting to converge. The second thing I liked is the brutality. There are some very brutal scenes in this episode. This series has been brutal throughout. I liked it. It feels authentic. It feels, kind of shocking at times. And this episode is no different. And the last thing I love the drama. There is definitely some drama as there's fights over different opinions within the camp, as there's multiple like fights over different opinions in various storylines. So all that being said, things I didn't love as much. The first, it's a little bit slow. Like there is definitely some action here. There's some important scenes, but still a lot of kind of like plotting, a lot of brewing, a lot of like coming to conclusions versus like actually acting on them. This episode itself is like a big build up to a major decision that happens at the end of the episode. So again, it feels like we are still just kind of setting up for another conflict. And the second thing I didn't love as much, I thought this was going to be like a 9 episode miniseries about the history of Hawaii. It feels like this is going to bleed into a second season. Given what we've done so far, given how much has been accomplished by episode 8, I feel like we are going to keep going. So there is a sense of like, I don't know, unease that this is going to kind of drag out, a sense of, lack of closure. I don't know if that's the case. I haven't watched the last episode yet. I don't know if we're going to like wrap everything up, maybe, but it doesn't feel like it. So all that being said, Chief of War Episode 8 comes to Apple TV Plus on December 12th, 2025. I think you should watch it. I think this season has been good. It started off great, kind of dipped a little bit, and has risen back up to good. So I think it's ultimately something that you should watch, but I'm hopeful that the last episode is going to wow me. We will see. And if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to really quickly go into a recap right now. So if you don't know what happens this episode, and you might not, there are some big surprises along the way. I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So, Chief of War Episode 8 continues right after Episode 7. We start with the destruction from the Day of Spilled Brains. Kayani's there. Kupoa is there. They are helping with the people. We see that Hawaii that helped Kayani in the Philippines. She was dead. We thought that she might have died, but we didn't fully know. She is dead. She was saving some girl from the shrapnel. She was killed. There were ultimately, I think, like 200 people that were killed, some large number of deaths. And this makes Kayani very angry because he warned Kamehameha that the English couldn't be trusted. Kamehameha didn't want to, like, I guess, attack them. He just sent them on their way. And because of that, then they did this attack, which killed a bunch of people. Kanye wants to confront Kamehameha at the actual beach, but Kohe says, no, not here. And then eventually he confronts him at his council. He and the chief, who is Kahumanu's father, get into an argument. The chief blames him, like, if anyone is to blame, it's you because you threatened them with death. And I'm like, yeah, that's really bad justification. But anyways, and they almost come to blows, but they don't. And after this, Kayani is seething. He wants to leave Hawaii. He wants to take his guns with him and go back to, I think, Maui to, fight on his own and or just like leave this situation where he doesn't feel like Kamehameha is a good leader. Kupoa then comes to apologize to him. They talk about how they've both changed, how they've both been different, but she still says that they're stronger together and they need to find their strength again, which is weird. It's like a change from last episode where she's like, you're so different, I can't even trust you. Now, to be fair, she is the one that betrayed him when he wanted to go and kill Marley and take his vengeance. She is kind of the person that kind of pitted him and Kamehameha against each other. So I think she is trying to make amends there, but it is a big change given what had happened before, where it felt like Kayani and Kamanu were getting closer, Kupoa and Namake were getting closer, and we were going to kind of like have them converge. Now it feels like Kupoa is trying to get back together with Kayani. Okay, I'm like, I didn't know where her play was. Maybe she is being a little bit more diplomatic here. Maybe she's trying to kind of like appease him so that he will join with Kamehameha because she knows that that is ultimately what needs to happen. It feels like multiple people know that. Kamehameha or Kahumanu knows that. Kupoa knows that. Kayani and Kamehameha don't, and most of the chief council doesn't. And who knows why? Maybe they are just set in their ways. Who knows? So meanwhile, Heke and Nahi are talking about war and death. They're over in like a forest. Then they start to kiss. But unfortunately for them, Keoa comes with his Maui Raiders. They start cutting down Sacred Grove, the Sacred Niu Grove, I imagine. And while they're there, they take like the person who's like tending the grove, who is I think a religious figure here. They take him hostage. Now Heke and Nahi see them and try to go warn everyone else that Keo is here. He's bringing soldiers from Maui here, and they're desecrating the sacred grove. But unfortunately, they get caught. Now, Nahi goes to fight Keoa and tells Heke to run. And Keoa's actually pretty badass here. Like he has tried to show how strong he is. And he punched out his own tooth. He like burned his body with volcano, steam. Now he gets into a fight with Nahi, and Nahi's much bigger, and he gets the jump on him. He like punches him a bunch in the face. Keoa stands up, like spits out some blood, and then he fights Nahi. And Keoa holds his own. Like he basically controls the fight as soon as it starts. He eventually subdues Nahi and like breaks his neck. Nahi is still alive. And so Keoa then grabs a big rock, brings it back, and smashes Nahi's head as Heke is brought back. Like she was captured, she ran, she was captured, she was brought back. She's brought back right in time to see Nahi's head just get crushed. Then Keoa tells Heke to go back to her village and tell them what happened. Tell them that, he's here to fight, something like that, and lets her go. But before she goes, that ruthless mercenary from Maui, Opunui, then goes and rapes her. Now, we don't see this, but it's such a well done scene. It's very brutal imagery. Oponi says, like, I have something to do first, and like drags her away, and she starts screaming. And then we see her after in the river, like washing herself, like looking like disheveled, washing herself, and there's like blood, coming from her legs essentially. And that is all we get. But you know what happened. It is a very, very brutal scene and, kind of a shocking moment in this entire episode. So after this scene, Heke goes back to the village and tells them that Opunui is here. Kayane and Namake go to find Nahi's dead body, and then we have this really, really sweet scene where, Kayane finds Nahi's body, he like cradles him, they prepare his body. I think they, whatever that means, I think that means that they get them down to the bones. They have like a little funeral ceremony for him, and then in the early hours of the morning, Kayane climbs a mountain and buries Nahi's bones. And then he's up there, he's lamenting. It is a pretty dramatic scene. It's a pretty emotional scene. It's very beautiful as well, like very beautiful imagery. And that is the end of Nahi. Now, Keoa, meanwhile, over in his like Scar village, his like ashen volcano world, he takes that Grove Master to the volcano, and there he like, sings a prayer and then sacrifices the Grove Master into the volcano. Keoa thinks that he has the favor of the gods of thunder, and this is one of the things that he's going to do to get that favor and prepare for the upcoming war. Now, Kamehameha hears reports of what Keoa did, and Kamehameha says he must answer this. Remember, because of the law of the split paddle, which I guess, Keoa falls under somehow, because Keoa did this, because Keoa, both killed Nahi and the Grove Master, he has to answer for it. But even though Keoa has to answer for this, Kamehameha doesn't want Kayani's help. He doesn't want to use the red mouth weapons. He wants to use his war god powers, his totem, and I guess whatever that bestows upon him, he wants to just use that, the old ways. Now, Kayane is not happy about this. He wants revenge on Keoa for killing Nahi, and so he gets ready to go kill him himself and avenge Nahi. He gets his weapons ready, and Namake and Kupoa say they're going to go with him, but Kupoa seems to be playing some sides here because she goes to Kamehameha and convinces him that Kayane helps. She says that Kayane has always followed prophecy and that must mean the gods gave him the red-mouthed weapons, and she thinks that she should let the gods speak through these red-mouthed weapons. Kamehameha then kind of takes this to heart and asks Kayane for help. He says that he has been waiting for the god of war, the totem that he's gotten, and the powers it's bestowed on him to speak to him, and maybe they aren't speaking to him through the totem, maybe they are speaking through these red-mouthed weapons that Kayane brought. And so now that they have some agreement, they start to train. And the next scene we see Kupoa waking up. I think it was Kupoa. It's either Kupoa or Kahumanu. I think it's Kupoa though. They're waking up, and we see the Hawaiian people training with the red mouth weapons. I don't know how many bullets and how much gunpowder they brought back from the Philippines. I hope it's a lot because they are using a lot in this training. Now, meanwhile, Keoa is training too. He's training to fight his own people, getting ready to advance on Kamehameha's camp. And during this time, a volcano goes off. And both Keoa and Kamehameha see this as a sign that the gods are on Keoa's side. It's a volcano that's more on Keoa's gods of thunder. And so they take this as Keoa takes it as a good omen. Kamehameha, I think, takes it as a bad omen. We will see. We will see. If it's the red mouth weapons god or the volcano god that wins here. Now, that is kind of the main episode. That's most of what happens. There's a little bit that happens in Oahu. I'll save it for the last. And over on Oahu, it seems like discontent is brewing for Kaikili. His son is approached by some of the other chiefs, and they say, "Hey, we'll support you, and also if you do this, which we presume is to take out Kaikili, history will justify your actions." And so his son is contemplating this. He goes to see Kaikili. Kaikili takes some like drug soup, and then starts having a freak out over his metal bone tower. His like tower of massive bones that would be the perfect cover for any sort of metal album. He goes over there and he starts to just destroy it. He says he needs new bones. These bones are tainted, I think. And so he says he needs all new bones for his metal bone tower. And so his son sees this, realizes that Kaikili is kind of like over the edge, doesn't want more death. And so his son then tries to attack Kaikili. Kaikili stops him, and it seems like in pure instinct stabs him. Like he like stops the attack, stabs him back, and then after that realizes what he's done. He like cradles his son and calls for medical attention. I don't know if his son is going to survive. It was a pretty deep stab. I don't know what their medical care is like in Hawaii at this time, but we will see. We don't find out if he dies, but we do find out that his son did rise up against him, and Kaikili, even in his drug-induced metal bone destroying state, is still a great warrior and is still able to stop his son and kill him. So that is what happens in Chief of War Episode 8. So, questions, predictions. We only have one episode left. Are we finally going to get war? It seems like we will. Although I think if I had to guess, we're not going to get to the full war. I will kind of speculate on that at the end. I think we might get some build up to the conflict. Will the Hawaiian people be able to use the guns? They've only been training for like a day. Maybe by the time the war hits, they'll train for a week. We'll see. Like, it's a new weapon. It is a powerful weapon, but they have never used it before. I'm gonna guess that they are going to maybe freeze during the fight. They're gonna like Be ready. It'll be like in The Last Samurai. If you saw The Last Samurai, you see the Union soldiers there, and then the samurai people like come from the trees. Everyone gets scared because they're like conscripts and they haven't fought much with these guns, and so they drop their weapons. I'm gonna guess that's what's gonna happen, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Kayani and Kamehameha can prevail. But I don't know. We'll find out later. Maybe next season. And who's going to survive? We got a lot of people who are going to fight here. We've got Kamehameha, we've got Kayani, we've got Kaoa, we've got Kaikili, we've got some English captains coming as well. Who's going to survive? I'm not sure. I mean, if I had to guess, Kayani's probably going to survive because they're going to want to keep Jason Momoa for any sort of future season. Kamehameha, maybe not survive. Kaoa, probably not survive. We'll see. Maybe Kai Keeley's son is going to survive, and Kai Keeley's going to die, and then his son is going to try to take up revenge, and that'll be a good plot for season two. Now, speaking of all that, what about the English people? What's going to happen if that captain, Kayani's captain, comes back? Is he going to be treated with anger because of what the other captain did? Is he going to be attacked on sight? I don't know. If he comes to the Kamehameha side, he probably won't, because hopefully they will recognize that that is a different captain. Maybe they all look the same, but I think they'll recognize it's a different captain. He didn't actually kill people, so he is still safe under Kamehameha's laws. We will see. Now, speaking of a second season, here's what I think will probably happen. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a second season. My guess is next episode there will be a lot of build-up. This has been a season of build-up. Start off with some great conflict. Now we have build-up. I'm gonna guess everyone's gonna get ready. Everyone's going to advance or, set up their fortifications, get ready for an assault. My guess is because Kaoa has this volcano, he will be the one to attack Kamehameha's people. I mean, we'll see if they survive. But I'm going to guess that there's going to be a lot of buildup, and then we're going to get almost a standoff. Everyone ready to fight. And that's going to be the end of season one, and we'll probably get a season two. Just my thought. Just given how slow we've progressed and how much more we have to go. I don't think we're going to get closure here. I don't think we're going to get a final, a finale that is going to close off the storyline. My guess is it's going to go to season two. But we will see. I don't know. I'll find out next week. We will all find out next week. But that is Chief of War episode 8. If you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you. And both KO and Kama, and both KO and Kama, and both KO and Kama, and both KO and Kamehameha. God, what? And both KO and Kamehameha see this as